Well, hello and welcome to Following On. I'm Jon Norman alongside two former England bowlers, Gareth Batty, current head coach of Surrey, and Darren Gough, host at talkSPORT for many, many years, MD at Yorkshire, and all the rest. And we're just looking back at a game that we've brought you on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. Sri Lanka have seal victory over England by 19 runs, winning the first of 3 ODIs, but it went almost just about to the distance, with Jamie Overton at the end, just allowing us to dream, and the England fans who turned up, the Barmy Army numbers, to dream of what would have been a famous heist right at the end. He couldn't quite get there though. He was last man out for 34 from just 17 balls, and it means it's that familiar feeling again for England. They've lost again. What was the record? Was it 11 defeats in the last 15? It was. Now it's 12 from 16. Let's start with you, Goughy. First things first, a good game today, an interesting game, a game that kept us interested from ball one to the final ball, but in the end, winning is a habit, isn't it? But losing can be as well. England weren't miles off today, and they were in a good position at different times, but they couldn't quite get the job done.
Well, that's the story of our winter, hasn't it? We get into good positions in cricket matches, and we somehow find a way to lose. And I think we started well. I thought Overton with a new ball, strange selection first of all with the team. We all had 2 seamers, Overton really a part-time seamer. I hate saying that because he is a decent bowler, but he's a part-time seamer. He shouldn't be in the team as a bowler. Right, he's a batter who can bat down that 7, 8, 9 position, and he hits a long ball, who should be bowling probably 5 or 6 overs in the middle, possibly at the end. But yeah, strange. They ended up getting too many, didn't they, with that last over, going for 23 off Overton. So they got 2-7-1. Chasing that down, we were in a position with Root and Duckett, but I just think they slowed up. And they batted too similar for too long a period, and then we got behind it, and then we couldn't play catch up, and we lost a flurry of wickets. And then there was a little bit of a dream at the end. Overton played a wonderful innings, 34 from 17, but it was never going to be enough, and we ended up 20 odd short.
Tell you what, Bats,
19 short.
Harmy absolutely called it in the end, didn't he? Before that final over was bowled, Sri Lanka's innings, and they were 248 or something. And he said this could be the defining over. This could change the course of the game. And I thought that is a big call. Jamie Overton bowled it, and it went for 21. And Sri Lanka have won by 19 runs. Now, of course, everything changed. But it was a big moment in the game. But picking up from what Goughy's saying about Overton, and this is a guy that you've played or coached for the last few years, would opening the bowling in international 50-over cricket be where you would normally expect to see him, or do you agree with what Goughy's saying and think that maybe first, second change, but with that batting that he possesses, and we saw it in New Zealand, he's more than worthwhile, his position in the side. Where do you assess where England are going to get the best out of Jamie Overton?
I think he's very much part of your pace bowling unit, and I think when you only have 2, there's only one place he can bowl. So that was kind of, as soon as you make the selection, that was what was going to happen. Now, that's not me avoiding the question. The question is, what surfaces suit his style of bowling? Australia, pitches that bounce and pace, and if you can get it off the straight, which he naturally does, if anything, he comes around himself as part of his action, so he can do the outside edge of right-handers, then yeah, go for it. Go for the new ball. Sometimes in England, because of his extra pace, he leaks a bit too much because he's got bounce as well. So you would go horses for courses on boundary size and opposition, but he's very much part of your fast bowling group. But England kind of hamstrung themselves by only having the 2 seamers, and he had to take that new ball. Is that surface perfect for Jamie Overton style bowling? Possibly not. Is it what we touched on during commentary? Is it harder for the taller bowlers with a bit of extra pace to have a good economy rate on those surfaces? I would say, yeah, that is also harder, because you want the ball to skid to keep the stumps in play and to get the natural traits of the surface to work in your favour. Unfortunately, the taller bowlers, they get it to bounce more. It's more of a consistent bounce, and it all goes against you. Anybody can have a bad over. When you're talking about par scores being 246, 247, a 20-run shift in 1 over is often the difference between a game.
Do you feel like England are just lacking in a little bit of confidence? Maybe maybe struggling with what their identity is at the moment as well. You know, Harry Brook's, there's been a lot of criticism. It seems like the criticism has stung Brook, you know, and he was really hands up after what happened in Wellington, and of course the pressures of the Ashes. They're not used to playing in Asia. They haven't played a lot of 50-over cricket. I mean, do we really know what this team's about yet?
I think it's difficult when you're going on the back of such a difficult winter that England have had. It's always hard to turn that momentum. They've had a lot of criticism, and it can't be easy that. They've seen their coach criticised and been rinsed in the papers and on the news, and lots of speculation about who's going to carry on. The skipper himself got himself into trouble where he's come out there before the game and apologised to the fans, which he had to do at some point, and he's done it, so fair play to him. But they had to turn up and deliver today, and look, Sri Lanka, remember, won the toss. They had the option to bat, and they got runs on the board. And once they got that total, 271, I think we all sat here and thought that's a good score. Average score with 246, 247. You could probably add 20 on that. I think we said that before the start of the show. We were looking around that 270 mark. They got there. But England, with that batting, with the depth in the batting lineup, like I say, Adil Rashid, who averages 30-odd first-class cricket, coming in at number 11, is pretty solid batting lineup. And you'd think chasing a total in 50 overs, if they were going to bat the 50 overs, they'd probably get there. And they're not far off. They fell, 19 short. But that was purely down to a moment of brilliance from Jamie Overton. Like I said, that 34 from 17 give England some sniff from nowhere. But it was in the middle we lost it. Let's be straight. And it is a lack of confidence. It was a lack of game plan. We watched Josh Buttler, so much experience. What's he played? Nearly 200 one-day internationals. And the way he played out there were like someone who had never played on a spinning pitch before. But all he's done the last 2 years, basically, he's played, 20-over cricket? Played a bit of 50-over, but he's 20-over player now. That's what he does.
I think the difficulty is you've got a surface that doesn't sort of fit the mould of what England have tried to achieve over a long period of time. They win the World Cup, and then there's a regrouping, change of personnel. They're trying to still play in that way, but the surfaces that they're coming up on, because everybody knows the manner in which they want to play, are trying to stunt that. So we saw it in the Ashes to an extent. We saw it in this. There's a different method to playing on these surfaces, and you're not going to regain the confidence from crash bang wallop. There has to be a bit more process. There has to be a little bit more method, I think.
Well, we saw that from Sri Lanka's innings, didn't we? It was a little bit of a throwback at times, the way they went about constructing their innings. You know, they were 191 for 4 at the 40-over stage, and that's when they kept wickets in hand. They added 80 in the last 10 overs. They left it to the likes of Leonardo Gay and also Willalaga, who really smashed it around. Kushal Mendis, he didn't change his game at any stage, you know, and maybe hampered with a little bit of a back problem towards the back end of his innings. But essentially, this was an old school approach to playing 50-over cricket. They had a game plan. They stuck to their game plan. And at the end of the day, they've won the game. Kind of works, right?
Well, that's what we're saying. Test cricket and 50-over cricket are very similar. Same attributes. You have to bowl well with the new ball. If you can pick up a couple of wickets, regulation, caught slip, LBW, bowled like you would go in Test cricket, you're in the game. In the middle overs, you have to assess the situation. If you've lost a couple of wickets, you have to rebuild. You have to have partnerships. And that's what they did. You look at the partnership there, Kushal Mendis and Asalanka, and then Leonage. Those partnerships were vital for them to recover and get some kind of platform where they can really step on the pedal those final overs. And guess what? They did. You know, they did, and they scored all those runs at the end. And that's why they got a total that was way above par, and which ended up being a winning total. It's good old-fashioned cricket. Guess what? Kushal Mendis, 93 not out from 117 deliveries, batted through, made sure his team got a good score on the board. They assessed the pitch, they knew what score they needed to get to give them a probably 80% chance of winning. It's about percentages, and that's what they did.
Talking about batting out the 50 overs, Gary Morgan, I'm going to ask, England have not got a good record when it comes to batting out their 50 overs. It's a side note, really, because we know why they got bowled out. But, you know, if you keep getting bowled out inside your 50, you're not going to win too many games of cricket. Let's look at the spinners' bats, because what was interesting to our mind is that England went in with just 2 pace bowlers, right? Sam Curran and Jamie Overton. Sam Curran bowled really well, I thought. 8 overs, no maidens, 1 for 40. Overton was just expensive in that final over, but it was an important over. If he'd only bowled 8 overs, he wouldn't have picked up a wicket, but he would have gone for, about 44, which, is more than adequate. Let's look at the spinners, though. Rashid, what more can you say about him? 3 for 44. He bowled brilliantly well, took a smart quarter bowled opportunity as well. Liam Dawson, 1 for 31 from his 10. So you'd say that ticks a good box. Rayan Ahmed, a late call-up because of an illness to Will Jacks. 10 overs, no maidens, 1 for 61. And Jacob Bethel bowled 3 overs as well. He did pick up a wicket and went for 19. Your assessment of England's spin attack today, because of course with the T20 World Cup coming up, some of these guys are going to be asked to bowl in that as well.
Yeah, I think in a 50-over game, in an ideal world, you want 5 bankers with the ball. And if you're going in with an awash of your spin, you need 3 out of the spin options to be bankers. And I don't mean this disrespectfully to anybody at all. The only 2 bankers are Dawson and Rashid. Ahmed is working his way through. He's a very young man. He's a very gifted man with ball in hand and with bat in hand. And Bethel is a batter that has a second string to his bow and can bowl some. So technically for me, you're actually going in with 2 spinners and a makeup of 10 overs or more. I think it puts a whole load of pressure then on your seam bowlers and your fast bowling attack. So I think all in all, we got what we thought we would get from our 2 main men. And I thought they went about their business as you would expect, with the skill, with the tenacity, with the thought process behind how they bowl. And the other 2 are a work in progress from the spin department.
I think if you put Luke Wood or Jofra Archer into that team rather than one of the spinners, I think we're somewhere near. It gives us a chance. We're a seamer light. We went in there with 2 seamers. Sri Lanka could have made it worse for us. If they'd have come after us with that new ball, we'd have had to have 2 spinners on within 5 or 6 overs. We know Dawes bowls well in that thing, and that's what he's going to do for England. As soon as the power plays are up, that's when Rashid comes on, and he's done that for many years and he's brilliant at it, right? And he picks up wickets on a regular basis. But we've got to improve. T20 is a totally different game. I think we're in a good place with that. But the 50-over game needs a proper look at, and we're just not getting it right. And that selection for me today just wasn't right, full stop.
It's the extending that period between 25 and 35 is where your spin bowlers grab hold of the game. That's what happened to England, because Sri Lanka just grabbed us. They ripped the heart out of our batting with spin, with process, with not giving any runs. Now, unfortunately, because of the age or the games played of where we are going with it, Dawes had some overs out of the way, so he's not going to bowl as many overs in the periods where you're trying to squeeze the game and take it down, where you've got your finger spinner and your crackerjack wicket taker in Rashid. We're missing elements of the game where we want to squeeze and we want to take it down because of we're trying to grow some players. We're trying to get them experience.
OK, let's hear from the England skipper, Harry Brook. He's been speaking with talkSPORT 2's Roshan Abhisinghe.
Well, bad luck, but it was a great fight by you guys. But just tell me, how crucial was the toss, you think?
Yeah, very crucial in the end, but Sri Lanka have played a very good game there and they deserve to take the victory.
Yeah, and then if you look at your death bowling, do you think that you were a death bowler short?
No, not really. I thought we bowled really well through the middle. The spinners bowled exceptionally well. Obviously, they got hold of us in that last over, but that's part of one-day cricket and white ball cricket. And like I said, Sri Lanka have played a good game.
Yeah, and when you guys batted, the surface looked quite easy, but then with your wicket, things started to happen. So again, it's a real test for you guys playing in these conditions, playing spin.
Yeah, definitely. They're a very good side as well. They've got some extremely good spinners in there as well, and they were getting enough out of the surface to be able to make us miss the ball and get stumped or bowled or whatever. And they challenged us in lots of different departments, but they had a good game.
Yeah, and the way, just going back to the way you guys batted, the Root-Duckett partnership, they just made batting so easy. The pitch looked so bland and easy for batting.
Yeah, they always do, and they both came off and said it was hard to start. And unfortunately, we lost a few quick wickets in succession, and that always puts you on the back foot.
Bad luck, Harry, but good cricket you guys played, and all the best for the rest of the series.
Thank you. Cheers.
When you factor in, Gough used to go away for months on tour. When you when you face the intensity of an Ashes campaign, and Jacob Bethel didn't play all the matches, but Harry Brook did, how easy is it just to come within 2 weeks to come back and then do it all over again?
Well, again, when I look back on my career and I think of 2 moments, remember when we beat South Africa, first time ever we won, and it was a draining series, a hard-fought series. And then we turned up at the Oval, they prepared a spinning pitch, flat pitch, and it turned in the end. Murray got 17 wickets or something, Jay Surya got a double, everybody cashed in. And we were just on the floor, weren't we? We hardly had any fit bodies left. And I think I limped off after one innings, thankfully, or so would have gone for another 100 because it was flat. And it was almost like, what are we playing this game for? A one-off test match after we've just had the greatest summer what we've ever had. And it spoiled momentum because I think from there we went on, didn't we, away for the winter. And again, you're going from South Africa when you're losing a series 6-1 and then you go and play in a World Cup. It's difficult, and somehow you've got to lift. And these guys, with all the negative publicity they've had, some of it rightly so, have had to recover quickly. But I don't know if, again, they've had enough time. The problem is they've just had a long time in over there. Root actually coming out here and playing again, I don't see the point on him coming and playing in that. We know he's a definite in the 50-over side, and we know where he's going to bat. So, to be honest, I think he's someone who probably does need a rest. He's been around a long, long time, Joe Root, and we could have probably played against someone else again, one of the younger players. But it's difficult.
He was out in New Zealand as well, wasn't he, before the
So
Ashes?
I'm saying it's difficult, and but he probably wants to play. It's caps, isn't it? It's runs, it's caps. And these guys now, they just want to... You have cricketers like Joe who wants to play every game, then you'll get some cricketers who don't want to play. And Joe wants to.
Let's hear from the Sri Lankan captain, Charith Asalanka. He's also just caught up with Roshan Abhisinghe.
Well, that was close. Overton was almost having you there. Were you worried?
Not that much worry according to the results, but I know that few areas we need to improve, especially the death overs of fast bowling. Until then, I think all went very good.
Just tell us about the surface, Charith. Now, when you guys batted, we did see the leg spinner getting a lot of turn, but there was a time that the spinners got nothing when you guys bowled.
Yeah, we knew that first 25 overs it's not going to spin, and we had a chat, and I said to boys that we just want to pull back game, and suddenly I think after 25th or 30th over started. It's starting to spin, and then just Vella, myself, Dana, and Jeffrey bowled really
Let's
well.
talk about Vella Alage's contribution. Nothing big, but crucial times. Those 23 runs in the last over, those 2 wickets, the catch. I mean, that was simply amazing.
Yeah, I think it's, to me it's very big because he didn't have enough time to bat, and he did the damage at the end, and also in the bowling. He got 2 wickets and a couple of good catches.
What about you? You're bowling well as well. You got a delivery that turned a mile and had her stumping.
I just want to bowl a little bit, and in the past 2 years I used to bowl a lot, so I just want to bowl.
Well done. Congratulations. All the best. Keep going.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pressure's going to be on now, England. Obviously, you know, this series isn't the be-all and end-all of their summer or winter or wherever we are. But essentially, after the Ashes, the T20 World Cup about to come, the T20 series, they just need to start winning matches, because Harry Brook, just seeing him there and hearing from him, you know, it starts to get you down, having to front up and talk about losing matches more often than not. He needs to start winning again, and to do that, I suppose he needs to start scoring some runs as well.
Well, just quickly on from me on this, I'll let Bats answer this one in depth, but I think the problem is, this is only going to be a problem, what happens in the 50-over thing, if we have a poor World Cup. It's all going to be about the T20 World Cup. If we do well in that, there's no dramas, is it? It's a cover-up, this 50 overs. But if we lose this one and have a poor World Cup, this then becomes a big issue, doesn't it, Bats? That's when it does change.
I think lots of people say that different formats don't cross over into the next. Well, I think we're talking about it actually does. That, you know, because of the significance of the Ashes, it's still dragging on. It'll still be spoken about if we have a bad World Cup campaign. You know, people say, oh, well, this is because of this, and so on and so forth. It's not particularly the noise in the changing room. It's very simple to to go from format to format in a changing room and just go, right, this is a new format, we're going to play in this way. But the skill and the challenge is to keep that noise out of your changing room. And I would suggest that England have got to a point now where it's impossible to keep it out. So it's how you manage that. And that is the hardest and bravest thing to actually take on, to go, okay, they speak at times about walking into, into fear, into danger. Well, they've got to walk into something that they've got to start showing people that there is something evolving here to get that pressure off them. Because even if they'd have won this game today, it would come back really quickly if they lose the second. And I think that is the challenge. I think that is modern day sport, that at some point you have to help to facilitate the change in people's language of what you do and how you do it. And the only way to do that is to roll your sleeves up and change perception by doing, and change perception by learning, and be that team that is evolving. Because then all of a sudden there isn't a man and woman on the planet that won't follow you, because they want to be part of something that's growing.
Okay, so what do England do? The next two matches, it's not like we're touring around the country off to Pallachelly or Dambulla or wherever. They're all at this ground. What do England do in that second match? Do they bring in a fast bowler and drop a spinner?
It'll be. I think they have to. I think they have to play a third seamer purely because of the Overton factor. I don't think he's an opening bowler. I think he's in the team as an all-rounder, somebody who can bat in the middle and bowl in the middle overs. I think he's good for that, and he's worth his weight in gold in the team. There's no doubt about that, but he's not an opening bowler. You have to bring in, obviously Joffre's in the T20 squad. They've got Bryden Cars here, who's been brought in as cover. He could come in, or they've got Luke Wood. Luke Wood gives you variety, left-handed as well. And we know what we're going to get now. We've seen the spin in the middle overs. We've got to somehow find a way to rotate the strike, take out the risk. Two people have run down the pitch today on a turning pitch and got stumped at crucial time of the game. What do they say? Turning pitches, cross bats, flat pitches, run at them. Right? Basics. It's basic what you get taught when you're a kid. Don't cut an off spinner. Remember that, Bats? We used to get Doug Paget. Don't cut an off spinner on a turning pitch. You have to sometimes go back to the basics, build partnerships, get a score, and they've showed today they did the basics right. Sri Lanka, England didn't.
Bats, you want to speak some Yorkshire?
Don't pat a burning dog.
There we go. Bats, thank you so much for your time today, and you, Goughy. You'll both be back later in the series.